Okay, so I'm here with Mara. She's one of the lead actresses from this fantastic film from the Philippines called Jesusa. I hope I pronounced that.
Yes, you did pronounce it correct. It's like basically Jesus with an A.
Yeah, okay.
Which I will discuss more later why it is entitled as so.
Brilliant. Now, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
No, you're more than welcome, and thank you for giving us time. So, yeah, if you could just tell us a brief synopsis. I've seen the film, but just for those people that haven't.
Okay, so Jesusa is actually based on a true story.
Right.
It's about this woman who is desperate for love, and she's just not getting what she needs from her husband.
Who's a real waster, I think, isn't he?
Yes,
he's not
who
a nice
is
guy.
a serial cheater
Yeah.
and just completely abandons her, but she still has so much love for him. And the story opens with showing the conditions of Jesusa. Jesusa is actually in the lower
It's
middle,
tough.
like the
It's
lower
really
class
tough,
of
yeah.
the Philippines,
Yeah.
and the film opens in this very, very slummy area with a river just filled with trash, and that's basically the place where Jesusa lives with her children.
Yeah.
And I play Beth, one of her kids.
Yeah.
But in this story, she has 2 kids and 2 grandkids who lives with her, but none of these people are her real children.
Right.
So my character, Beth, she is my mother figure, but still you could see from...
She's not actually your mother.
She's not
yeah,
actually
yeah,
my
yeah.
mother, but she's kind of like my adoptive mother. And it's a usual sight in the Philippines to see children giving their parents like a big headache for getting into illegal drugs. It's probably not just in the Philippines, but all over the world. But here in Jesusa, it's actually the mother who ends up giving her children a lot of pain and suffering because she was the one who got involved in illegal drugs.
Even though, yeah, and a couple of ironies here. Even though she's frankly been treated like shit by the partner.
Yes.
Which is the sort of premise of the film, although it's all about her and the children, of course. And I suppose the sequence at the beginning was just quite interesting, which is where she's walking through the slums. The guys are still wolf whistling at her. Do you know the sequence I mean? So the guys, typical guys, they're still like harassing her, aren't they? You
Yes,
know,
yes.
who aren't anything to the film, but you can see straight away that she's, what's the word, sort of downtrodden off this hard life that she's leading. But I guess this is a real reflection of the conditions that there are in that part of the Philippines. I guess it must be. I mean, it must be that tough.
Yes, and you can see it also from my character that everyone is just trying to get away from that situation. My character, Beth, she ends up leaving the whole family to stay with her boyfriend, who is actually like in the middle or upper class. And it was described in the movie that there was a line there where I'm like, hey, let's just go our separate ways. I'm going to start living with my boyfriend who has a business, and it's just like an escape for them. Maybe there was love there for my character, Beth, but basically everyone is just trying to leave that area, and that's like an end goal. And so my sister, played by Empress Chuck, also a brilliant actress from the Philippines, she is also wanting to leave that area because it's not a good environment for her son to grow up in, and she plays teacher in this movie.
So I know this film is all about the living conditions there, but can you give us more of an idea of just how tough it is? I know it's touched on in the film, but how, because we hear these stories about how rife drugs are within the Philippines.
Yes.
But can you sort of elaborate a bit more on how tough it really is?
Well, it is a very tough issue now, and it's actually very political as well, now that the drug war is real, and just the authorities are now given so much power to, you can...
Is it literally shoot to kill? Is that a true policy?
It's shoot to kill for a lot of situations, but
Right.
of course not everything we see in the news is what's really happening. I've actually done a lot of films that covers this part of the Philippines, and it's just very dark because a lot of these children are just used.
Well, like
Maybe
mules.
some of them are users, but a lot of them don't actually use, but they're used as people who push drugs. So if you could see one character, Mayang, in this movie, she is a nurse, but you can see that she had, that was very strong for me, that she had a line there where she was like, that's why I push and push every day, push drugs, that's what she meant.
Yeah.
So she can use for free. So.
Oh, I see, because her payoff is supply the drugs.
Because at one point, Jesusa was asking her to just help her out because she already needs, she has no money, but she wanted to get more meth, right? And so she was asking Mayang for help, but Mayang was like, there's really nothing I can do about this. The reason I'm pushing drugs is so I could use for free.
So I can do it myself.
Yes, and this is not just a problem in the Philippines, I believe.
It's a worldwide.
It's a worldwide problem. It's just very heavy that back in the Philippines, that even kids are like dying probably every day from this drug war.
So I'd be interested to know, I don't know how you got the part, perhaps it's through your agent or directly or however it was. So when you found out that this role was available,
Yes.
and I assume you went for a screen test or a reading, or you sent the script, or well, perhaps you
So
can tell us.
usually I actually do a lot of auditions, but for this movie, I was handpicked by our director Ronald Carvalho. Very,
Lovely.
very grateful
Yeah, yeah.
for this role. And when I found out about the storyline, he was like, "Are you game to do it?" And I was
Because
like,
you knew it was going to be tough,
"Yes."
and you're going to see the script. So what, were you, once you'd seen, once you heard about the story, you knew how tough it was going to be seeing the script. What were you feeling?
I was like, wow, this is going to be really intense because it's going to be shot. It was actually very hard location-wise because if you could see in the movie, the river, the river covered with a lot of trash. We had to cross that every day, and we're actually filming on the other side of the river. So you had to put all the equipment in. I mean, it was hard for everyone.
Because we should
on
say,
screen
this
and
is on
off screen.
location. I mean, this
It
is the real
on
deal.
Location,
Yeah, it's the real deal.
And of course, aside from the challenging part, I was very, very excited to work with a lot of the brilliant actors and actresses. Our lead actress is actually nominated for Best
Yeah,
Lead
she's
Actress,
amazing.
Sylvia
Yeah,
Sanchez.
she's amazing, yeah.
And she was really amazing in this movie. I think it was my first time working with her, but my mother is an actress as well, and so I've met Sylvia Sanchez as a young girl whenever she would work with my mom. So more than how scary it was going to be to, of course, like filming in the slums is always challenging because you have to worry about crowd control. And this is an actual location with hundreds and hundreds of people, almost thousands of people.
Yeah.
So we really had a good team. Our cinematographer, Rain Yamson, there was one shot that I was not able to see in our actual premiere night, but in this screening here in Fusion Film Fest, I was able to see it, and a lot of the audience who were watching were actually reacted to that shot he did, where it was like a crane shot, and it went through like this leafy area, and I was like, wow, that was good.
Oh,
So,
it's amazing. Yeah, some of the shots are brilliant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you know how tough the slum areas are, you're from it, so you know the Philippines, obviously,
Yes.
inside out. But when, I guess what I'm driving at here is when you're actually there filming and experiencing it, I mean, was it affecting in the sense of, because you can see this all around you at ground level, ground zero,
Yes.
because you're actually in the heart of it, and you're portraying a character who's really could be any one of these, right? So how did it actually make you feel? I mean,
You
is
know
that
what,
hard
I think-
is that hard to explain? I don't know.
It's not quite hard to explain, but then I think it helps, like filming actually on location and having most of our extras and talents are actually from the actual location. So all the people you see, like I had friends ask me, oh, is everyone part of the scene, actors or actresses? I said, no, a lot of them are actually from there and they got hired because they were already there. We have some extras as well, but I think just being on location with the people who actually live there helps you be in character even more. So in a way, it makes my job a little bit easier. But of course, it's hard to see that, and we also had these environmental issues that came up. Like me and the lead actress Sylvia Sanchez were actually really shocked with the conditions, because I think that also shows about the problem of the government. How this area, it's supposed to be clean. I mean, it's not.
It doesn't look very clean.
It doesn't look very clean, but just the fact that it shows how people are not educated, because then you can just throw trash everywhere, and that's not how it's supposed to be, because you're killing where you live, you're killing the area where you live. So just seeing that side as an actress, it's easier to get into character, but of course it's pretty heavy as well, because you see the living conditions of the people there.
Yeah, and the truth is that, I mean, obviously we've never met, but you and I are privileged in the sense of, I, for instance, happen to live in the UK. I know you've travelled, I think, lived in the US, and also we are privileged in the sense of we have, in inverted commas, good lifestyles, right? You know, so it must be tough to see that kind of devastation and despair and conditions that are horrendous to, you know, even though I know you're acting a role, but you're actually living the role, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because you kind of are. So, you know, but then I suppose you need to tell the truth. I mean, that's what it's about, isn't
Yes,
it?
I think I love making movies like Jesusa, for example, and I'm really grateful to Ronald Carvalho for telling this story, which is, I already said, it's actually based on a true story.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
But in the true story, the mother actually dies. So, and that happens a lot. It's not uncommon. So I think it's a difficult story to share, but it's a story that must be told and must be shared.
Definitely, yeah.
And I like brave films and bold films, and hopefully there's more in store that the Philippines can share to the world. It's just really great that we can show Filipino talent as well using your film festival as an example, as a venue.
No, thank you. And as I think I said off camera, I've seen remarkable Filipino films over the years, and this is an atypical example of how good they are. Now, you said something a moment ago that was intriguing. You said this is a play on Jesus. So can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, so it's just kind of Jesusa. It's basically Jesus with an A. She was a martyr as a mother, and she was a martyr as a wife. So that was the play that our director was using with the name. He really could have used any other name, but he was like, I wanted to be close to Jesus because isn't it ironic that she dies in the end? I mean, in this movie she doesn't, but based on who the characters, who the story is from, in the real story, she actually dies. In this movie, her husband dies, but just how she cared for her husband even when he had a stroke and he was basically not capable of taking care of himself anymore. Just like Jesus, she took him in wholeheartedly, even when all he did was hurt her.
Yeah, and
that was heavy for me actually. I was like, oh my God, this is insane, because a lot of people actually do that for love.
Of course they do, and it happens everywhere, and they're like the unsung heroes, really. So, onto a lighter note, what was the best part of making this film?
The best part in making this film was, of course, in every project you become family, especially in a film like this where you're together almost every day, filming in hard conditions. So just knowing the cast and crew on a deeper level. A lot of the people in this movie I've already worked with before, but just being reunited at this point of our lives, it was nice. I'm actually closely in touch for this film fest. Our lead actress wanted to be here, our producers, Jean, Janelle, everyone wanted to be here. It's just like the timing and the schedule. I think our producer is still trying to fly in for the awards night. And I guess that's the best part of making movies, is just getting a close relationship and having like a new family. So prior to this interview, I was actually having a chat with our director, Ronald, who wants to be here, but he also has to fly to another film festival in like a few days. We're also part of this film festival in India. So
you've got to
just having that kind of relationship, close working relationship with everyone, that's always a blessing for me. That's something to look forward for in every project that I do.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.